Okay, the next thing we need to go over is how to go from standard to scientific notation. So we have our number here, and first step, you want to find where your decimal is. So if there's not a decimal, remember it's always right here on the far right. And then you want to decide where you want your decimal at. So you want your decimal to be after a single digit. So it has to be after a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9. So it can't be after 86. It can't be after 860. It can't be 0.8. It has to be right after the 8. And then from there, you want to count how many times you had to move that decimal over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So when you rewrite your answer, your decimal is going to be in the new spot. So it's going to be 8.6. And then you want to write how many times you had to move that over as your exponent. So we had to move that over 6 times. That's my exponent. Okay, so even with small numbers, it works the same way. So here, there's my decimal. There's where I want it. I want it after the 3. And I'm going to move over 1, 2 times. So my answer is going to be 3.45. And then I'm going to write times 10. And I moved it over 2 times. So that's my exponent. So it wasn't a crazy big number in a case like this, right? Scientific notation wasn't really effective because it didn't make you have less writing, but it's still the correct way to write it. So no matter what, okay, even if it's a small number already, 345 is a fairly small number, you could still make it, you could still move that decimal over. Okay, so it's possible to have a power to 1 or 2. They won't always be crazy huge numbers. So same way if it's a negative. So here's my original decimal, and then I want my other decimal after a single digit. And then I'm going to count how many times I had to move that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I moved it after the 2, and there's no other digits to write down, so I could just write down 2. But it was a number smaller than 1. So it's going to be a negative. So it'll be times 10 to the negative 6. So notice the difference here. When it's negative, it's a very small number, and then the very large number. So if it's larger than 1, it's positive. If it's smaller than 1, it's negative. And then the last example, again, I want it after a single digit, so I want it after the 7. Don't want to hear that would make it 76. No, I want it after a single digit. And then count how many times you move over. 1, 2. And then you want to rewrite all the digits using the new decimal. Okay, and then times 10 to the negative 2. Okay, so go ahead and give a couple of these a try on your own before you start the classwork.